And we are live, episode 3 of a football discussion, and it's our first one on good old football, the beautiful game. No American football here today. I'm joined by Sam and Lewis. So we're going to be previewing match day 29 of 38 in the Premier League. However, before we get to that, I think let's talk about some news that broke very late last night for some reason, which is that Spurs have, via mutual consent, Antonio Conte, he's out the door. Christian Stellini's in charge of Ryan Mason as assistant manager. I've got many thoughts on this, but let's open it up to the floor first. What do you guys think?
I mean, mutual consent. Let's be honest. It was. I think there was some clear, passionate feelings there, wasn't there? I mean,
yeah, I'm not surprised he's gone.
Like it's been coming. It's been coming. Like Conte clearly wasn't happy. But I was saying to May actually, do you think he kind of forced himself out? Because obviously, if he resigns, he's not going to get any money, right? Mm-hmm. But if he gets sacked, he's going to get money. So do you think he purposely forced himself out? Because he clearly wanted to leave, but he thought, you know what, I'm going to chat absolute. I'm just going to chat shit about the whole club and then get myself out.
I don't know, but mutual consent must mean he gets less, right? Because it's two ways. So maybe not then. I don't know. But then also, when he did the press conference, everyone was like, oh, it's out of the owners, because he said 20 years here are with these owners and they've not won anything. Like, what do you think the thing is? And then they were like, oh, the owner, like, apparently later on, I think it was like recording, later on he had a talk with the owners and like, oh, he said, oh no, it was about the players, it wasn't about the owners at all, I didn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly addressed the owners.
Of course it was about the owners, but like, why wouldn't he say that to the owners if he wants to leave? That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I think that, I don't know, because I think he wanted to, like, there was times, even like quite late on, where I thought he'd still sign a new deal. So I think like he was happy. I just think it's like, I don't know, something's flipped recently.
What do you think?
I don't know
what's the main reason for him being unhappy, do you think? Just inconsistent results?
Probably, yeah. I'd say that I think it all comes down to him not being like backed. And like, I know when you look at the money, it's like, oh, well, I mean, like, what more do you want? Like, but how many of the players were really his choice? Like, and does he want that? And then like, also, I don't know if that's what Spurs would want in like do you want that as a manager? Like I was saying to Lewis just like earlier, just like, oh, surely you'd want a few, like Daniel Levy loves to get in, like, oh, he's a bargain, let's get him. And like, sure, Conte, he wasn't about that. He wanted total control of everyone, I think.
But with these sackings, do you have to question the players as well? Because obviously,
of course. I think they
clearly don't stick with a manager. They clearly lose. The managers lose his dressing room like quickly. Yeah. I think the same clearly with Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, a lot of managers been in and out. I mean, a large part of it was to Roman Abramovich's ruthlessness, but like, I wonder what were your opinions on Harry Kane and his. Do you think he, as a neutral fan, not as a Tottenham fan, obviously you probably want him to stay, right?
Yeah.
But like, as a neutral fan, do you think he should leave?
I don't.
I say yes, personally. Because I feel like he's done what he can with Tottenham, you know?
Okay.
I think so.
I think.
Personally, as a neutral, I'd say no. And I know it's like, oh, you'd be like, oh, it's just Spurs fan talking. But like, we're here going like, oh, where were all these like, oh, these players used to be loyal back in the day and all this stuff. And like, now we're crucifying someone for being loyal to this club.
It's not
like,
about loyalty.
I get what you'd say, like, oh, but he wants to win trophies and stuff. But like, I still believe that Spurs can win trophies in his career. Like, I still think.
I just think if he wants to be acknowledged as highly as other players, he needs to go out and win something. You know what I mean?
But surely, if he won something with Spurs, it would mean more than anyone. Like, if he went to Man U. So,
of course, but he's tried that for years.
No, I know, but right. But I still believe it can happen. And why? So, if he went Man U, let's say, right, because I think that's the
most likely one.
That's the most realistic option. I think probably maybe it's the only option. That if he went Man U and just won something in like not a ready-made team, but you know what I mean, like more set up for success currently than Spurs are, that all of a sudden just everyone will go, oh yeah, Harry Kane's a great player now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's a bit stupid then. So he needs to win a team trophy to be considered as one of the greats. I understand trophies mean stuff, but like, surely it would be more impressive if he won it. So it's like I've said, if any manager wins.
I'm just thinking because name a legend who didn't win anything.
Yeah. Okay. It's a long. I get what you mean. But then he has won like individual awards, if you want to count that as well. Like he's an individual. I don't know. It probably is my Spurs fan talking, but that's what I think. I can't say that I would want him to get, even as a neutral, that I'd want him to play for another team.
Do you honestly think that Spurs can win a trophy in the next few years?
Yeah. I don't see why not. I don't see why, especially if it's the right appointment after this.
But I mean that's key, to be fair.
Who we get in charge?
You've appointed 2 former Premier League winning managers,
but they weren't given the tools to succeed though. So like, how would they win?
I guess, but like, I think that the team you had under Mourinho, it was mostly Poch's team, right?
Yeah.
But like, it was an alright team. Like they got to the Champions League final. Like Dele Alli, right? At the time he was one of the best youngsters, and then his attitude messed everything up for him. You know? Like he clearly, obviously, can you take? I don't know if you could take much from a documentary. I watched the All or Nothing Tottenham documentary. He just didn't seem to have much respect. You know,
it was just quite like he didn't really care kind of thing, wasn't it? Like,
no,
everything was easy and like banter and kind of stuff.
I'm just interested to see what manager they need for it to work at Tottenham.
But I think someone like a Poch is like, I know we didn't win anything under him, but he got us to a Champions League final. He did more, and I don't fully agree with this statement, but like literally looking at it, he did more than Conte and Mourinho for Spurs.
I agree.
Someone like a Nagelsmann, for example, who I want as the next manager, like he's on that like Poch mold of like building something, and I think like that's the only type of method that could be successful because he kind of needs less backing in a way.
I do think Nagelsmann makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that does make sense.
I mean, I think that's what I think. Like, there's no one. That's why I kind of like I wanted Tuchel, but I didn't really because it would have ended the same. He wouldn't have been given the tools that he needed. Like, you know, they wouldn't have got rid of certain people that maybe he would have wanted, or they wouldn't have been able to sell or whatever. And like, I think that's what ultimately kind of held up Conte's thing.
I mean, look, as a Chelsea fan, I love Tuchel, but the clear problem with Tottenham, like if you and the owner don't get along, then there clearly isn't going to work. Like Tuchel definitely is not afraid to speak his mind.
Yeah.
Like the 2 main reasons for why he got sacked at both Dortmund and PSG is because he wasn't afraid to speak his mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also him and Todd Bowley at Chelsea had very different opinions. So I don't see a world where a relationship between Tuchel and Daniel Levy would have worked.
But I think it would have went well to start. Like Levy and Mourinho and Levy and Conte had a good relationship until it went wrong.
It'd be the same thing as them.
And I know, but like that's what I mean. Like I think he could have turned it around because they both knew. There's no way they didn't know. Especially Conte. Like he rejected us the summer before he got the job in the mid-season. So it's like he knew what he was going into when he took the job.
Do you think Daniel Levy's aspirations for Tottenham are too big? Do you think he overrates Tottenham?
No. Yes, what he's putting it. Well, it's not even him really. Like he is obviously part of the ownership group, but like the ENIC's the main thing. They're the ones that like set the budget. Yeah. I think that yes, for what they put in, their aspirations are too high. No one will be able to do what they want them to do with that kind of budget when everyone else has a much higher budget. But I think that it's not too high in terms of the Spurs as a club the size of them couldn't do what they want. Like, that's what I think.
I remember
if that makes sense.
When he sat Mourinho, I was just thinking like I don't know what Daniel Levy would have expected him to do.
But it's worked miracles, I suppose. That's why they got him in. Like,
well, I mean, the reason Mourinho's there is to win trophies. He gets you to a cup final and then gets sacked.
What? Okay, but I know, I get, but like that made sense to me. I know it's stupid, right? I know it's stupid, but like that was done. That was way worse than what Conte had. I know he had a more explosive end press conference maybe, but the situation between the players and stuff was still way like.
I do think a lot of the Super League stuff was behind that.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon that there's more players now who are still like who are still behind Conte to the very end. I think there's just like a bigger majority that are there that were kind of sick and tired of the methods. And I just think it could have gone well in a different thing as well. Obviously, like Conte, he had a lot of personal things, like quite a few of his close friends have passed away and things, and like obviously he had his health problems and stuff. And like, I don't think, even if it had gone well, maybe I just think there was a chance that he would have gone, I want to take a break from management no matter what at the end of the season. Yeah. So like, I think this was kind of inevitable that he was going to leave, but I think that it's still, I'm still quite sad about it, to be honest. I don't know, he really kind of won me over as a Spurs. I still respect what he did. I think he did more. I know I said it earlier, like results wise, I think Poch did the most Spurs. I think Conte did the most Spurs for me in terms of, I don't know, there's something he got me to believe in a way like they Mourinho and stuff and other managers never did, you know.
I do think Conte should just take a breather for a bit. Like,
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think he will. Like, there's no, you know, that Spurs would have taken a lot out of him to do that.
I think that Juventus job is probably going to call for him. I think.
Well, it depends. It depends what happens. It depends what happens with him. But yeah, I reckon that's got his name on it.
Yeah, and obviously he was a Juventus boy, so
absolutely. Okay, so shall we? Well, actually, quickly before we get on to the Spurs game, I was kind of shocked. Stellini and like literally all of Conte's team, apart from his brother, have been kept on.
Which I thought it'd be Ryan Mason.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That's what everyone thought. And like, I'm quite happy that Stellini and the coaching staff are still there. And I was saying this to Lewis earlier. I don't want this, but like, does he have a shot at being the manager? Because like, he's decent. He's a good manager.
I personally don't know much about Stellini. Like,
he's won every. I'm pretty sure. No, I think he had one loss, but apart from that, like he's basically undefeated every time he's had to step in for Conte.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, okay,
yeah.
He was in when Conte was having his
surgery.
Absolutely, yeah. And like he's obviously, you don't know how much of that is under Conte's influence or not. Yeah. So like there is, we'll have to judge over the next 10 games. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd love him to stay, even if it's just like as an assistant manager. If the next manager would like have him, I'd love him to stick around. But I don't know if that would happen or not. But yeah,
I mean, surely if he wins a lot of his games, there's got to be win for a shout, surely.
Yeah, I reckon they'd like put him under consideration if he got us into the top 4. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't. I think he'd be a like kind of last resort, maybe. Well, Ryan Mason's the last resort.
Yeah,
he's the one before Ryan Mason. Yeah, and I love Ryan Mason, but he needs time. He's he needs to. He's not even been this will be his first time being like a proper assistant manager for like a long stretch, and like maybe he goes. I feel like maybe after next season we should like kind of loan him out in a way to like manage like a League One club or something like that. So you get experience, yeah. Like because you need to build up like that. It's why I think these other managers like Lampard and Gerrard, they don't work because they go, I'll go for a Chelsea job.
It's too quick.
How hard can it be? Yeah, and never manage anyone apart from like Derby before.
Like, I think managers need to like be careful how big of jumps they make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly like playing. Like if you would Frank Lampard, if he was a player, he'd never want a player who was 17 years old to just all of a sudden start over him in midfield when he's done like all the years. So why is it when he's a manager, he's just like, I'll be that hotshot player.
Like even Potter from Brighton to Chelsea has turned out to be like a big jump. Like
exactly.
Maybe he should have done like Brighton to Leicester to Chelsea, something like that.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I think that's a unique set of circumstances of him, but I get what you mean in terms of like absolutely.
It's just as an example, right?
100%. Yeah, I get what you mean. Anyway, so should we jump into to what we right? So Everton will be Stellini's first game in charge at Goodison Park. Okay. Obviously, they've got a few injuries. We'll just mention here. Townsend's out, so there will be no revenge game for him against Spurs. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got a thigh issue. Looks like he's
always out.
He is. Looks like he's unlikely to play. Nathan Patterson has got a knee injury, and Seamus Coleman with a thigh injury. But they both have about a 50% chance of playing. So there's a chance maybe one or both of them will make the bench. And now, moving on to the key injuries for Spurs. Ben Davis is, of course, out. So is Basuma. Hugo Lloris, obviously, there's a chance he could be coming back from his knee injury. I reckon that he makes the bench if he's held. Like, I think keep Fraser Forster, at least for this game. Sessegnon's out with thigh injury. Of course, Bentancur's out for the rest of the year of that knee injury. And Richarlison's out with that muscular injury picked up against Southampton, which is disappointing because I thought that could have been the time for him to get his first Prem goal this season against Everton. Yeah, he'd be really up for it. Also, Emerson went off with a knock in a Brazil friendly the other day. I haven't seen, like, that was literally like last night, I think, so I haven't seen anything about his stats for the game or anything like that. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention it. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this game?
Where's it being played at? Is it at Tottenham?
It's at Goodison Park.
Oh. I think it's going to be a scrappy game. Not a lot of goals. I think it's going to be a 0-0, if I'm honest.
Oh, you reckon?
I think it's going to be a 0-0.
I've personally got, obviously, let you in behind the camera a little bit. We've got we've all been divvied out fixtures that we're kind of looking up and things. And so, like, each one who kind of hosts the fixture that they're talking about and go through the injuries and everything will have their prediction. So my, like, official prediction for this one is 2-1 Spurs, but I do think it will be, like, really close. I think it will go 1-1 and Spurs kind of get a late winner, something like that.
I was going to say maybe a 1-1 draw. I think
I could see it definitely. Like, I think, especially, like, although it's the thing is, it always, because it's Spurs, we could just win like 3-0 because that's what happens.
So inconsistent.
Whenever you think, I've learned this as being a Spurs fan, and to be honest, just being a football fan in general. Whenever you think it can't get any worse, it weirdly just goes really well for a week. Then
literally
this season.
Then when you have your hopes up, you're like, oh, we'll get a nice 2-0 win against Southampton. No. Yeah, last minute penalty, 3-3.
I mean, to be fair, Sean Dyche is doing okay with Everton.
Yeah,
he is.
So it's like, obviously before I was thinking Everton, nothing. Then they're quite. It should be an easy win, but like Sean Dyche with Everton is an interesting opposition.
They do have some like important players out there.
Yeah,
but I know also Spurs do too. So
yeah.
I think that's mine. Go on, Sam. What do you reckon as well?
I was just going to say like 1-1, 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw maybe.
Okay.
I think Sean Dyche is probably going to save Everton. I think.
Agreed.
I think it's definitely going to happen. So.
I think if it was Lampard, Everton, Spurs would win like 3-0.
That's
like
that.
3-4-0.
That's probably fair enough.
Sean Dyche, Brexit football. I think solid 0-0 for me.
Okay, fair enough. Who wants to jump on with the next fixture then? Go on, we'll just kind of go in a circle.
I'll go Chelsea versus Aston Villa. So,
go on then.
Yeah, so it's an interesting game. They're 10th place versus 11th place. Currently both on
big mid-table battle.
Mid-table battle, yeah.
And they're actually more in the European fight than the relegation fight. I mean, the relegation fight is 12th downwards, right?
We've got to talk about that when we get to these games because it is insane.
Yeah. And then there's like a whole bunch of teams from like 6th to 11th who could potentially get Europe, right? And looking at Chelsea and Aston Villa, obviously for Chelsea this is a bad season. Mm-hmm. For Aston Villa this is a season where they're on the way up because it didn't start too well with Gerrard. Emery's kind of come in, he's done okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
So in terms of like injuries for Chelsea, Armando Broja is out. He suffered a really bad injury a few months back in December and he's not expected to return for a while. Thiago Silva is out. He's expected to return in mid-April. Kai Havertz is ill, but he should hopefully be back for the Aston Villa game.
Okay.
But I'm not too sure about that. Azpilicueta is supposed to be back by the Aston Villa game, but I probably think he'll probably be out for a little bit longer because obviously that head injury was a big one. So
you got to take it easy with those.
Mason Mount currently has a groin/hip injury, but they're saying that he should be back for the Villa game, but it's a 50% chance. So
okay.
And then Mendy again is supposed to be back for that game, but he wouldn't start for me.
No.
I think Kepa would be.
But he was like displaced before he was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah. True. Yeah. Raheem Sterling's out again. He's been in and out so many times.
Yeah.
He should be back for that game, but don't think he'd probably.
He'd be on the bench, surely, if he was.
Aubameyang's currently injured, but he.
Which wouldn't play anyway.
Would he make the squad if
he
was
wouldn't
fit?
even make the squad. I mean, like, I kind of feel bad for him because of how Potter's been treating him.
Oh, same, yeah.
But like, he's also. He's got a bit of an attitude, doesn't he?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, he's not helped himself, but I do feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
He went to the Barcelona game and then just sat in their dressing room. Like, you don't show love for another club if you're at a team, Lukaku.
That's what I say. He's taking it, but he'll get a loan straight back there in the summer. That's what he's taking it straight out of his playbook.
I'll drive him down there.
Wesley
Barcelona.
Wesley, these two injuries like hurt me because Wesley Fofana and Reece James are both injured with thigh injuries, and I love both those players. They should hopefully be back for the Aston Villa game, but both 50%.
Fofana's really grown on me recently. Like I really like Fofana at the moment. I don't know why.
Like he's been injured for a big part of the season, and he's turned out to probably be our best signing from the summer.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's
he's been
mental.
amazing.
He's a good player, to be fair.
I really rate him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, so going on to Aston Villa. Obviously, I'm talking about Chelsea. I'm a Chelsea fan. So,
the bias.
Matty Cash is out with a heel injury, but he should be back for the Chelsea game.
Okay.
So is Coutinho with a thigh injury. So I'm looking at a site called PremierInjuries.com.
Yes, I've also shout out. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're very, very good. And most of these returns are for the 1st of April, which is when this Chelsea game is being played.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
So yeah, Philippe Coutinho is currently injured. Should be back for that game. Leander Ndonka is also injured, but should be back for that game with a wrist injury. Boubacar Kamara should be back for that game. Jed Steer is injured, but there's there's no potential return date, and also there's.
Would he even play?
Yeah, no, of course not.
Exactly.
No, unfortunately not. Is he even second choice keeper at Aston Villa anymore?
I reckon he is.
He must be.
Yeah, I think he is. Because otherwise it wouldn't. Because surely he wouldn't be kept as a third keeper.
No. When does Tom Heaton play now?
Man United.
Yeah.
Is it Man United?
Oh yeah, he does.
No, but because is Robin Olsen's there, isn't it?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, Robin Olsen. Yeah.
There we go.
I mean,
So he is a third choice.
Yeah, he's a third choice.
There we go. Right.
But in terms of predictions, it's with Chelsea. It's very hard to predict nowadays. I'd say a draw, 2-2.
Ooh,
I'm going 2-2. Like I think Potter will make some difficult, incorrect substitution choices again.
Gallagher will come on. That's what I'm betting on. Gallagher will come on at some point in the game.
Yeah, when Potter will think, you know what, we're 1-0 up, because obviously, apparently, being 1-0 up is fine and is comfortable.
Yeah. Gallagher, go. That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
I reckon. Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm gonna say. There might be riots in this poll, but I'm gonna say a 2-1 Aston Villa win.
Damn.
Just because of what even though, but you've got Thiago Silva out, he's definitely your best defender.
Mm-hmm.
Reece James and Fofana, if they play, they're coming back from injury. There's quite a lot of defensive talent out, and you've already kind of struggling with conceding goals.
Yeah.
So I think, and scoring isn't Graham Potter's team's strong suit. So that's kind of
We literally have issues everywhere, mate. Let's just be honest.
We are an issue.
Yeah,
we are an issue.
That's my reasoning behind it. But I could very easily see a 2-1 Chelsea win too. Still.
Yeah, it's just so hard to predict nowadays for Chelsea.
Yeah, that's what I'm
just don't know. Because I'm thinking about the defence now. Koulibaly and Cucurella are going to have to play together, and that doesn't fill me with any form of confidence.
No, I mean, to be fair, I haven't minded Cucurella as a centre back.
He's better as a centre back, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't mind him as a centre back.
But you'd love it because
them two scares me.
Him and Thiago Silva will be covering for him a lot and making him look better. Do you know what I mean? But obviously he's not there. He's kind of your leader in that defence. He's not there.
I rate Badishil.
He is very good, to be fair. Yeah. No Thiago Silva though.
That's tough.
But I do
I'll say.
Go on, I got to force you for the decision.
I'll say 2-1 Chelsea then, just so someone says we're going to win. Someone has to say
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me believe that, but I'm going to say it.
Right, Lewis, do you want to jump into your first fixture?
I had the biggest game of the weekend, Man City Liverpool. Used to be a huge game, but obviously Liverpool are kind of struggling nowadays, which I like quite a lot. So in terms of injuries, there's actually some big injuries in this game. So Liverpool have Núñez and Gakpo both out potentially. Ooh. They both withdrew from international duty with a cut ankle and an illness. So Diaz is still out, obviously. He's out all season. And then for Man City, Foden is definitely out after he had surgery the other day.
Yeah.
And Haaland is a doubt. Haaland could be a big one,
That could be.
Do you think he's actually dropped out because...
I think he's faking it, I'll be honest.
Poor guy is never going to do anything with international
No.
level. Like,
So, my prediction is, because at Man City as well, I think Man City will win 2-1. Because I think Liverpool aren't great. I've got to be honest, Liverpool aren't great. And Man City just
well, to be fair,
ruthless.
Liverpool did turn up against Man United. So
This is true.
anything could happen.
This is true.
That
Anything
was
can happen,
that.
you're right.
Was at Anfield though? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, is it at the Etihad?
At the Etihad,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Man City will win 2-1.
I think I'm on a City will win 3-0, mate. That's
3-0.
my-
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree. I think Man City could put on a battering, especially if Haaland's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, even if he's not, like Liverpool could have Gakpo and Nunes out. Like
And
that's
Diaz
two.
out. Their
Diaz-
front three would
exactly.
be...
Their front three is basically gone. Like, and I know they still have kind of like Salah and Jota and those, but like it's
I'm
not.
just thinking,
It's
like,
weak, yeah.
the midfield
Yeah.
battle is so it's really unfair
Is
now.
that
Like
there?
Liverpool's
Yeah.
midfield is actually really weak.
Oh,
like
it's-
Henderson
yeah.
is old and slow.
Yeah.
I don't rate Thiago that much.
I think Thiago's... Yeah.
What
yeah.
you don't think 38-year-old James Milner can do the business?
Funnily enough, Michael, I don't think 38-year-old James Milner can do business.
Fair enough.
And I mean, Fabinho this season's been
And then,
awful as
then
well.
like
Yeah.
for Man City, they've got like Rodri and De Bruyne. And
Bernardo Silva, Gundogan off
Absolutely.
the bench. Oh,
Yeah,
it's-
it is
Man City's
insane.
squad is a joke.
Please, on behalf of all of us at Football Discussion, win the league, please, lads.
Yeah, I can't have Arsenal.
Yeah,
do it.
please.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but like.
Yeah, I know. This is
Yeah.
more of a prayer
This
than
is
anything.
right. This is right. If Arsenal win the league, and they probably will, we will not stop hearing about it for about 2 months.
Yeah.
Arsenal fans will continuously go on about it for about 2 months.
No.
No, not 2 months, maybe more.
2 years?
2 years. Yeah.
20 years, mate.
I'm deleting Twitter. That's what I'm saying.
They're,
I'm
they're
deleting Twitter.
they're still going on about the Invincible season.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Yeah,
They
yeah.
drew
And
12 times, by the way.
it
They
would-
drew 12 times that season. Just saying.
it would also mean that I would have to get many Arsenal fans in the studio and they would gloat at me for.
Yeah, I'm
ever.
not going to be here for that
So,
one. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
I'm on holiday then.
Yeah, to be fair, I might be too, mate. We'll just be on a. We're on a long. This is an NFL.
A retreat to,
This will be
like-
an NFL podcast now.
Yeah. Has to be.
Okay, so shall I? Go on. I'll jump
Take the
into
wheel.
me next one. What should we? Yeah, we'll go to the top. Go on. Nottingham Forest versus Wolves, and this is where we're going to start to get in.
What's
to
the Forest versus who? Sorry.
versus Wolves.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is where we're going to start to get into that, and let's just talk about this relegation battle for
Relegation battle.
because
Yeah.
I honestly think if it stays anything like this, that it's the best relegation battle of our lifetime.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
At every team from 12th to 20th, you could say, oh, they'll go down or they'll stay up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you wouldn't be stupid.
I
Yeah.
think there are some teams you could argue that could stay up. I think
Okay,
Everton.
okay. I know if you look
Yeah.
at everyone. Okay, but like literally in terms of Everton are only like 2 points.
There's not a
safe.
team you can say, right, they are definitely
None of
going
them
down.
are safe. Yeah.
Yeah, because like even Bournemouth, for example, I thought they'd be awful. Like I had them 20th in my preseason predictions.
Yeah,
and
same.
they've done very well. They look like a Premier League side, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Apart-
they've
apart
not.
from
They've
that
not.
9-0 to Liverpool.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, but like
Scott Parker Ball was.
they've not like
good.
you know Derby when they got like 13
Oh,
points.
goodness,
They've
yeah.
not done
Yeah.
that. That's. I'm not saying I thought they'd be as bad as that, but like I thought they'd be like a Norwich every time they come up or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
this battle between Wolves and Forest. These two teams are both really uninspiring.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
watching Wolves is the type of team like on Match of the Day that you don't really pay attention to.
They've both scored the least amount of goals in the league, joint with Everton and Crystal Palace.
That's interesting.
So this is probably going to be a bit of like a midfield masterclass. I
Yeah.
reckon.
Our boy's struggling there. Diego Costa, he's struggling at Wolves, unfortunately.
My boy.
Even though
yeah.
They've had
I forgot he
my
was
boy.
there.
I love that man.
Yeah,
but
I think everyone has.
he's struggling.
Okay, we've got a lot of injuries to get into, so let me
Interesting.
Let me
Okay.
get into. Willy Bolly is another revenge game, but
yeah.
not because he's ruled out with a thigh injury. Scott McKenna is also ruled out with a thigh injury. Taweo Awani,
Yeah.
have I done that well?
We'll go with that.
Don't
Sure.
laugh.
Yeah.
Apologies if that was butchered. But
Yeah,
it's not.
thank you very much. Is out with a groin, hip, pelvic injury. He's ruled out. Cheka Kiate has got a thigh injury, although he has a small chance of playing. Chris Wood is out with a thigh injury. Dean Henderson, obviously, out. Keylor Navas is now the number one there. That's just so weird.
That's weird. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
so weird, yeah.
Ryan Yates has a small chance of playing with a shoulder injury. Emmanuel Dennis has a 50% chance of playing with an ankle injury. Brennan Johnson could be coming back from a groin injury. and Omar Richard, is out for the season with a calf injury. So obviously, I mean, you'd expect a lot of injuries.
I think if Brennan Johnson comes back, he'll really benefit Forest.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. He's such a good player.
What do you guys think of Forest? Like, do you
It's
think
a weird.
they've just
I've said
spent
this.
so much money and they've just got a bunch of randoms who don't know each
Right.
other.
I've said this. I never want a team to but if they go down, are they not screwed financially?
They must be. Yeah.
Because the amount of they've literally bought 2 new squads basically, not even one new squad.
2 new starting 11s, yeah.
Exactly, and even more than that, literally. And it's if you're not going to that point, and we have teams who Fulham, for example, people they get 10 players in with who spend a lot of money, and they're oh no, we have to sell these players. They're on way too many wages. This is an entire team
Yeah.
Do you know what's
and a
impressive
bit
for me though?
on Premier League wages.
Yeah.
So many fans are happy with Steve Cooper. I think I don't see him as anything
He's
special.
so overrated in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he is.
He's
Yeah.
not bad or anything. He's just everyone's oh, he's the next Graham Potter at Brighton. I'm
I mean, there is obviously so much he can do with a whole 2 new sets.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Apart from Brendan Johnson, he's just been there the whole time as well. He's
Yeah,
the only
I know.
one that was good enough to
I
stay
know.
Last
over.
man standing.
Yeah.
I know, but their decisions higher up have been.
They've been
questionable.
interesting, yeah. But to be
20
fair,
million for Morgan Gibbs White. All I have
Oh.
got to say.
Yeah.
That's a revenge game. Morgan Gibbs White.
It is.
there we go. There we go.
Damn.
Yeah, we got it. That's a prediction. If he scores, is he going to put the hands up or will he celebrate?
Ooh.
Maybe.
I'm saying he
I
celebrates.
think he celebrates,
Sorry, Morgan
yeah.
Gibbs White. You just give
He
me
never
those.
got the time of day at Wall City.
No,
No.
he didn't. Yeah. All right. Then we get onto the Wolves key injuries as well. Obviously, Sasha Kaladzik, again, sorry for butchering or not, is obviously ruled out with a knee injury. Chiquinho is also ruled out with a knee injury. Johnny Otto obviously got sent off, so he'll be back on the 22nd of April match day. Hwangi Chan is ruled out for the game. Matthias Nunes also on a red card, so he'll be back for the 8th of April match day. And Boubacar Traore has a small chance of playing with a groin injury. So there's not as many injuries for Wolves, but
Yeah.
kind of everyone that I have said apart from Boubacar Traore is out. So,
Yeah.
whereas Forest have a few people who have chances to play and stuff, and we'll see if they go through fitness tests.
I'm listening to those names who you just read me,
Yes.
and I'm thinking Wolves should be doing so much
I
better.
know, it's mental. I don't know what's going on with them.
I know.
Yeah.
It's,
They're just so uninspiring to watch.
yeah. Well, I mean, but they're all out. I suppose that could be. It's weird as well. Especially Chiquinho's. They've got so many flary players, but don't feel like a flary team anymore.
Yeah, you got Pedro Neto, people like that. as
Exactly.
well,
I remember when they got promoted, Adama Traore was burst onto the scene, and now he's
No, he's
Yeah.
just
he just runs and that's it.
just got baby oil on him and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've gone for 1-1 on this.
I think that's solid.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's the
that's
game
good.
being played?
It is at the Nottingham Forest, at the City Ground.
Ooh. 1-0 Forest then.
Okay.
I think Forest at home are pretty decent, I'll be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, they are, to be fair.
So 1-0 Forest.
Yeah, I'll probably say 2-0 Forest.
Ooh, 2-0.
It could go either way though.
For,
Yeah.
for two teams that have scored the lowest in the league, I rate going for more than 1 goal for each for a team.
Do you know, would you
Yeah.
be like a 4-3 or something?
Oh,
stupid?
yeah, big thriller,
'Cause
mate.
it always happens, doesn't it?
It does.
That would be mental.
Okay. Who? Sam,
Yeah,
back to you
for
then,
sure.
for
So-
the next fixture.
Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Crystal Palace have just sacked Patrick Vieira.
Have
Mhm.
Roy's back in charge.
Roy's back in charge.
Again.
Personally don't get it.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Let's not take the piss here. Let's not take the piss here.
Look, guys, England fans out there. You know I played a Hodgson ball, okay? We lost to Iceland in the round of 16. No disrespect to Iceland.
What do you mean? Harry Kane is such a good corner taker. I don't know what you're on about.
Exactly. That's what has to be said on the matter.
All right,
Yeah.
so looking at the Crystal Palace injuries, so we've got Sam Johnston, but he probably wouldn't have started.
Yeah.
Oh no, he should be back for the 1st of April. I hope Sam Johnston does get some looking into. I think he's all right.
He's
Yeah.
a good keeper.
He was good at West Brom and then just kind
He
of
was, yeah.
has
Then he
done
kind of
nothing.
joined Palace and then just hasn't been looked at. So
No, but I really rate Guaita as a
Me
keeper.
too.
yeah,
to
but
be
they
fair,
haven't been using Guaita recently. They've been using a young keeper. Can't remember his name.
Yeah,
I saw that
that's so true. Yeah,
Can't retain it, shit,
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, Joe Whitworth is his name. Joe
Oh
Whitworth.
yeah, that's it.
There we
that's it,
go.
that's
That's
To be
the
fair,
one.
it's his breakthrough season, so you know.
it.
Yeah, fair enough.
James MacArthur is currently unwell, but he should be back for the game. Sammy Lakonga is currently out. It doesn't really say why he's out, but
He's just out.
he's just out, yeah.
He's
But
just
he
out.
should be back for the game against Leicester. Nathan Ferguson, again, doesn't really say why he's out, but and it has no return date, so
It could just be like those are like training injuries maybe, and they like just want to keep it quiet. you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
oh, that
That's
makes
what I
sense. Guaita's been injured as well. I didn't even realise. Guaita and Johnson have been injured.
Oh,
so
hence
that's
why. Whitworth
Okay,
has
that makes
been-
sense.
yeah, and Guaita doesn't have a return date yet, so
Ooh.
he's got a thigh injury. He's got a thigh injury and a hamstring strain. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure. But if Johnson does return, maybe he'll play. But I'm not too sure there.
Could be.
Joachim Anderson is also out.
That's a
but-
big miss.
That is a
that
big miss.
That is a big miss. But again, doesn't have a return date. So yeah, that's a couple of key injuries there.
It is.
I think Anderson has come into Palace and has been a little bit. He probably should be doing better maybe for Palace.
Ooh. Yeah, he started
Yeah.
off the
I'd say he
season
started well.
incredibly
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like, I do think he has slightly, but then like he set such high standards for himself at the start of
Yeah.
the season, like, you know, that I think he was bound to drop off a little bit, especially in like a Palace team where,
I'd say the whole team has been poor
you know,
as well.
yeah, to be fair, exactly, yeah, especially recently, and like, but then he does have Gay next to him as as a partner, so like, you would usually go, oh, he's Palace, he's probably playing with like a, oh, there's someone who's like a not so good centre back partner, but then like Gay's probably going to go to like a top 6 team in the summer, so
Yeah.
hey, but yeah,
Yeah. And we're looking at Leicester again. This is another team with so many good players, and they've just been disappointing this season.
yeah.
Do you think Brendan Rodgers should be gone?
Yes, I'm shocked he hasn't. I'm shocked he wasn't gone.
As I think it's
I'm
too
sure
late
it's
now. I feel like they might
Same,
just
yeah,
keep
yeah,
him.
they've
I
got
think,
to keep him in.
I think
but
it's risky to sack managers at this point in the season. I know
Yeah.
Tottenham literally just sacked their manager yesterday.
But that was a different. That's a
there
different
were different
situation.
In a relegation
there were
battle,
different
yeah.
That's
circumstances,
irregular circumstances.
Yeah.
I think it's mad because like, especially like, and my mum had this, and I was like, I can shout out my mum. In her preseason predictions, she had Leicester going down, and I was like, what? But
Do you know what?
but
That's not a bad shout.
because when she loves to look at like Spurs transfer rumors and everything, and she had seen that they were like trying to offload Maddison because they just can't spend a lot of money, and she kind of looked at that and just went, oh, they kind of struggled a bit towards the end of last year, but I'm going to be a bit ballsy and put them down. And it's like
if they are
kind of
struggling
makes
with money,
sense.
then maybe they should accept deals for Maddison and Tielemans. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I've
I'm
obviously-
actually shocked that Tielemans stayed because like Arsenal were apparently so interested in them in the summer, and like I think if they'd have sold one of them, they could have been able to put that money into like,
I think
or just a little bit.
they'll lose a couple of players in the summer.
Yeah. Definitely. But in a way, that could almost like weirdly make them stronger. If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
because they can like hopefully be able to put that money in. But
like,
yeah,
it's clear because they didn't do anything in the summer. They signed
Yeah.
the fantastic Wout Faye. Who
yes,
And yeah, what defender. I mean, yeah, Schmeichel left.
Got
wasn't
good hair.
replaced.
He's got
He has
hair.
got good hair, to be fair, yeah.
All right, so in terms of injuries,
Absolutely.
James Justin is out with a calf, shin and heel injury. That's what it is. This
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
too
no,
sure what
yeah.
it is. But he's not expected back for a while. Not until
he can't catch a break, man.
That's
Yeah,
how he's
I
always.
know.
It's a shame 'cause he's such a good player.
He's such
as
a
well.
good player. Yeah, I know.
yeah, he's been out since December and he's not expected
Oh.
back until June. Yuri Tielemans currently has a ankle foot injury. He's not expected back until like mid-April though, so
Okay.
he probably will miss the Palace game. Harry Souttar is hopefully should be back for the Palace game. He's been
really good.
yeah, he's been quite good for Leicester. So if he isn't back, that'll be a big miss. Victor Christensen is out with a foot injury, but should be back for the Palace game. Wout Faye is suspended, but he probably, I think, yeah, his potential return is the 1st of April. So
Oh, he should be
He'll be
back.
back
then.
for this game.
yeah, he should be
Yeah.
back. Yeah. Ryan Bertrand, he's currently has a knee injury, but should be back for the 1st of April. Same with Johnny Evans with a thigh injury, should be back for the 1st of April. Yannick Vestergaard, it doesn't really say what's going on there, right?
Okay.
There has no return date. Has been solid. I think something's going on with Yannick Vestergaard. That's why he hasn't been around the Leicester team.
Like a personal issue?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's this quote here: anything which has happened, we will deal with internally, and we'll move on from there. Any success we've ever had has been with solidarity on and off the pitch, and that's something I always look to protect.
Damn.
Oh, damn. I hope
That's quite telling, to be fair.
Yeah, I hope everything's go well with Yannick Vestergaard.
Yannick Vestergaard, yeah.
Us at the AFootballDiscussion podcast wish
course.
everything to go well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, in terms of that Crystal Palace versus Leicester game, it's a hard one.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it out of the way first, since I can see the faces that we're gonna need to think about prediction.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I'm gonna bun it. New manager bounce. Roy Hodgson. Well, technically old manager bounce because he was there before.
Yeah.
That definitely wasn't an age joke. And we're gonna go new manager bounce. I'm saying Palace sneak at 1-0.
That's a good shout.
That's a very good shout.
That's a good shout, yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I just really don't know. Because both teams are playing so badly at the moment. Like, Palace can't score goals, and Leicester... I'm going to back a 1-0 Leicester then, just to be different.
Ooh.
I would probably agree with Michael and say a 1-0 Palace win.
Ooh,
because
fair.
It is at Palace, so...
True, that is true.
I was just looking at, apparently, Vestergaard and Rodgers don't get on, so... So there's a bit of a situation there. So.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, another reason Rodgers should... I can't believe he stayed. Like, Vestergaard is... they could do with him.
He's a good defender.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Especially with, like, Harry Suter could be out. I mean, Wof out is out. Like, you've got...
I rate Soyuncu as a defender as well.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm surprised he's still there, to be honest. Because he had that one really good season.
No, but he kind of had... Last year, he kind of fell off the map a little bit. So I think that's kind of... If he'd had another season like that first year, I think he would have immediately got a move.
100%.
But yeah, I think he'll still be looked at as, like, teams will look into him.
But unfortunately, if Leicester players leave, they get booed, so...
That's very true.
They do get booed.
That's very true.
Unfortunate. So, moving on, we've got Bournemouth and Fulham. See, Fulham, European places, which is kind of a weird thing to say. But, so in terms of Bournemouth, they've got no injuries, weirdly enough.
Oh.
Brooks, Tavernier and Stanislas are all back, which is...
Firstly, we've just got to shout out David Brooks.
100%.
He's finally back.
David Brooks, legend.
100%.
Like, I commend him so highly. Anyone who goes through that sort of battle, I commend,
Exactly.
And he's come back, and like even Sebastian Haller for Borussia Dortmund, both of them I have so much respect for, and I really hope both of them succeed.
Yeah,
they both do well.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's so great as well because obviously that's one thing. Being a professional footballer, you'd have that kind of link up with those great doctors and everything. It's so great that they have that, so they could they found it early. They can they've got that recovery. There's nothing like that. You might find it late and there's less you could do about it. So yeah.
And David Brooks still has good potential. So
exactly,
he's still a young player. Yeah.
Exactly, he was so incredible. Like I just really liked him even before everything happened.
He was linked to Man United before.
Exactly, yeah. Like he was such an incredible player. So I just hopefully he can get back. I mean, he played in under 23s game and got a hat trick the other day. So hopefully.
Did he come back for a professional game the other day? Was he? Did he come off the bench?
I think he came on the other day.
Yeah, he did. He came off the bench in the Villa game.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Cool,
right. Okay.
Cool.
Sorry.
So
you
that's all right.
Get back to the key injuries.
So with Fulham, they've got Mitrovic and Willian suspended, obviously after the Man United game.
Of course.
And then Cabano and Kazawa are both out with no return date. They're just out.
Okay.
So I don't really know. Bournemouth are a weird team because they just kind of get random wins where you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's a good result. Like beating Liverpool 1-0.
I could see them sneaking a draw, weirdly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because, I don't know, Fulham are where...
I think Fulham missing Mitrovic and Willian.
Exactly, that's a big loss. And they've kind of, slipped down. They were kind of 6th, 7th, 8th, whereas now they're in 9th. They're kind of more... And, they're only a point behind Chelsea now.
Look, Mitrovic will be a big miss.
100%.
But... you have to commend Fulham's midfield this season, I think.
Especially Palhinha and people like that.
Palhinha's been so...
Palhinha's so good. Yeah. And Andreas Pereira has been good. He was getting slandered at Man United. He was a meme. He was
loaned out every season, yeah.
Actually, that's for our final segment, I've got a bit of an Andreas Pereira shout-out.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
So,
bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, stay for that.
I mean, he's been linked with Chelsea recently. I wouldn't take him.
No.
But no, I wouldn't. No.
Oh, okay.
No, but good on him for playing.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah.
Turned it around, yeah.
Prediction.
I'll say 1-0 Fulham. I'll say 1-0 Fulham.
I'll go for 1-0 Fulham as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with an interesting 2-2 goal.
Ooh.
Mix it up a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Okay.
Interesting.
We're back to me now, I believe.
You are.
Yes.
We are. Right, and we're going to go for Brighton versus Brentford. Got the home boys,
The home
Seagulls.
boys, yeah.
I don't actually think I've mentioned that, but we obviously go to the Uni of Brighton, so got a shout out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brighton based for this podcast.
Sports journalism.
Oi.
University of Brighton.
So let's get into the key injuries. Obviously, Adam Lallana, he's ruled out with a thigh injury. Jakob Moder is ruled out with a knee injury, and Tariq Lamptey is ruled out with a knee injury.
Hearing that Adam Lallana's injured is the least surprising thing. That guy,
Yeah.
he's
That's very
always
true.
injured. He's like Andy Carroll. Him and Andy Carroll have all throughout
They're
their
just
career.
injured. The
That's
whole
so
career is
true, yeah.
injured.
Yeah.
But, Brighton, they've got good backups and stuff. Obviously, we saw them, me and Lewis went to the Grimsby game very
did.
recently.
5-0, yeah.
Yeah, they were firing on all cylinders.
They were.
And looking at Brentford's key injuries, Keane Lewis Potter is ruled out with a knee injury. Shannon Baptiste is suspended, so he will return for the 5th of April match day. Mads Razrum, again, sorry, that was definitely butchered, is out. He could have a chance of playing with a thigh injury. Christophe Ager is out with a calf injury. Matthias Jensen has a small chance of playing with a groin injury. And Vitali Janelt, that's definitely butchered, is out with a knee injury. I'm so sorry to
I
anyone's
would
names. I got
never
wrong.
ever have thought that I'd be excited to watch a Brighton versus Brentford game.
Yeah.
These two teams are really good. Are really interesting to watch.
Definitely.
And a lot of people would say that the three Bs, Brighton, Brentford, and Bournemouth, are the three smallest in terms of stature and size of in history for the Premier League teams currently.
Mm-hmm.
But Brighton are doing really, really well. Obviously, they're local to us. Well, from where I actually live, they're the most local Premier League team.
Huh.
So, I want Brighton to do well, and I think it's really nice to see how well Brentford are doing as well. And I hope they both. It's nice to see the smaller teams.
Yeah.
Take
Absolutely,
the lead.
especially with Brentford, because they didn't have an academy until a few years ago. They kind of have a whole Moneyball kind of approach to what they do there and everything.
Yeah.
It's so different to how every single other club is run and things. And things I've heard from past coaches and stuff is they all really respect. It's very football minded setup.
Only thing I'll say is I think Thomas Frank should look at Graham Potter and not make the same mistake that he did, not make the jump so early. I think he has potential to stay with Brentford a little bit more and then take Brentford's.
Yeah, I think there's a chart I don't know why I weirdly think with the Tuchel out, I almost think his chances of becoming the Spurs manager have lessened, because I think that I reckon Nagelsmann will be the new manager. It sounds like that if Munich weren't available, that there's a high chance he would have gone the season we got Nuno in 2021. And so I think now it would just kind of make perfect sense. Both he's out of a job, we need a vacancy. That lines up too well for me to see it not happening. I wouldn't be shocked if there's already some kind of deal agreed now for the summer, or the startings of some talkings, even if they're not official or whatever,
Would you take Thomas Frank at all? Or?
I'd have him. I'd love him. I did also want Nuno at Spurs, so any Spurs fans can take a pinch of salt on that. But no, I'd really like. I think especially because Brentford is more set up. They don't spend a lot of money. They kind of have that Moneyball approach like we mentioned. Spurs are kind of like that, although they don't do it a Moneyball way, but they don't spend money. So he's kind of whereas Graham Potter didn't spend money and then went to Chelsea where they spend all the money in the world. So it's I think it's less of a jump than the Chelsea one is.
Yeah,
that's what I'd say. But yeah, I kind of agree with you that I hope he would stay anyways.
Yeah, I think players as well. Players should stick it out until they get to the point where they can't do any more. And if they're becoming frustrated, so many transfers just don't work anymore. It's really sad to see. We've seen so many transfers over the years. Coutinho went from Liverpool to Barcelona, and that move hasn't worked out.
I do think there's a thing about if we just go on this tangent quickly, that players are expected to go and perform instantly. There's no you get a chance to learn or anything.
Yeah.
People sign for one club, they do badly and then immediately move on the next year.
But then
even in
they
January at
shouldn't
times,
really
like
be
loan
given
out.
they shouldn't be sold for those big sums then.
But
Like,
even like smaller moves, do you know? Like it's mental how like you're expected to just like adapt now. Whereas like I know, even though my things have switched. When I was a kid, I thought players should just turn up and play because obviously I was a kid back then. But like, I still was like, but players got time, you know? Like Son, if he had his first season now, his first season at Spurs, he would have been sold the next year. But he was kept on and then turned into Son, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just like, watching Chelsea, Michaela Mudryk.
I was thinking Mudryk, yeah.
Yeah, he's obviously not turned up.
But give him time. Like
Of
he's
course,
not even
give him
had
time. But it's
half
that
a
price
season
tag.
yet.
It's that price tag for me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a separate conversation then. I think
That
almost.
that price tag for me. Like, if you're being signed for that price tag, then I'm not expecting you to turn up in the first game. I'm not expecting you to score a hat trick, right? But like,
But that's not on Mudryk though. Of course,
yeah.
I get what you're saying, but that shouldn't be put on him. That's more of like a financial thing. That's just what players are worth these days.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know.
And Potter should be playing him more, to be fair.
That's
Agreed.
true.
Agreed.
Anyway, getting back
To Brentford, Brighton. Yeah.
To Brentford, Brighton.
Yeah, I was sorry about that. I was just because I was talking about the managers.
No,
Making,
that's
making,
fine.
making
Yeah,
a move.
mate, it's all good. It's all good. Nice
Yeah,
little
yeah.
flow. It's a conversation.
Nice little
over it.
tangent, yeah.
Anyway.
They're both interesting teams to talk about. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I love both of them. I'll whack an official prediction. I've gone.
Oh, it's tough.
See, I've got written here 2-0. I did this yesterday to Brighton, but I don't believe it anymore. I'm going to give it 2-1 to Brighton because I'm like, surely Brentford are going to score. I reckon.
Is that at the Amex?
It is at the Amex.
Okay.
I think Brighton will win, but I think 2-0 is a bit far from me. No, so 2-1 is my official prediction.
I'm going to go with 3-1
Okay, to Brighton.
to Brighton.
To Brighton. Yeah.
God, I really don't know. I'll go over 1-0 Brighton. I'll stick with you lot. I'll go Brighton
Lovely.
win, but it'll be close.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Mr. Matoma and
McAllister.
McAllister will do some.
Yeah.
Pop some goals in.
Perfect.
All right, so my final game that I'm covering, I've got Man U versus Newcastle. I've said probably the biggest out of the three fixtures will last out of my ones anyway.
That's
Yeah.
how you got to do it. Save the best to last.
Yeah,
Cup
of
final.
course. Cup final. Yep.
Yeah.
True,
It is.
True.
Big rematch.
Yeah. So obviously, Man United, in terms of their injuries, Van der Beek is out, but he's not expected back until July. He's currently out with a knee injury, so hope he's all right there. Christian Eriksen, he's currently been a big miss at Man United. He's got a foot injury, and he's expected to be back in late April. Casemiro is suspended currently.
Yeah.
And obviously his suspension is a little bit longer because he's had a red card before.
Of course, yeah.
So he's not expected back until mid-April. Anthony Martial has a pelvic injury, but he's expected back the 2nd of April. I'm not sure if that's when Man United play. I can't remember at the top of my head, but
It should be if it's this week of games, yeah.
yeah, for sure. But they probably wouldn't rush him in. Varane is also expected back the 2nd. Yeah, I assume. Yeah, they'll probably be playing the 2nd of April. So Rafael Varane and Marcus Rashford are two other players who are expected back for the 2nd of April. Right, if Rashford's come back, that's really good for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Garnacho's currently injured, which is a big miss for Man United.
Yeah.
There's no return date for him just yet, but he's currently got a foot injury, and then Mason Greenwood for various reasons we won't.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. By the way, Mason Greenwood is still technically part of Manchester United. Man United, so yeah, that's why he's on the list. But yeah, that's the. There are some big names missing for.
Absolutely, yeah.
Man
There's
United.
a few key pieces there, like especially Eriksen. He's been so instrumental in that midfield.
Varane as well.
Varane's a big miss. Yeah.
Obviously Casemiro, but
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
All right. In terms of Newcastle injuries, we've got Almiron, who's out, but he's not expected back until late April.
that's a big miss.
Yeah. Anthony Gordon is out. He's not expected back until like middle of April though, early April. Jonathan is out, but he should be back for that game though.
Oh, okay, perfect.
He currently has. Apparently, he's got 10 yellow cards this season.
Okay.
No.
That's interesting.
the more you know.
Yeah. Saint Maximum should hopefully be back for the Man United game. Currently has a thigh injury.
Okay.
Nick Pope should be back for the 2nd of April because he recently had a knock.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sven Botman's been unwell but should probably be back. Ryan Fraser is injured, but there's no return date on him just yet. But he has been training with the under-21s, so I think the process is...
Yeah, he's kickstarting to get back to playing.
And Emil Kraft is also out. Apparently he's not been operated on yet, so he's probably going to be out for quite a long time.
Yeah, I'd assume that's the rest of the season. Got to be.
Yeah,
must be.
Apparently that detail was from August, so he might be assessed on now. But yeah, Man United versus Newcastle. That's a interesting fixture.
Yeah, there's a few. Both teams have got a few like key pieces out. I think, especially since what happened in the Carabao Cup, obviously, I think Newcastle will be out. There's a bit more. It's kind of a bit of an extra weight to this game. It's not just like we're fight, but also Newcastle, they're still in the shot. This is definitely in the Champions League fight, 100%. And they would obviously really love to get that position. So I think,
neither team are on the best of forms in the world.
No, I can see it. I can see it being like a 2-2 draw. Personally, I think something like that. Both teams are really going for it.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a really tight, close fit game.
Where's the game being played? That's
a good question. I believe it's at Old Trafford. I might have to just double check.
I'm gonna stick by my 2-2 prediction. I just think because I think Man U haven't had it's not like the Old Trafford of old.
Oh no, sorry, it's at in
St James's.
Oh, I did think it was that. Anyway, I'm still sticking by my 2-2.
So that changes things for me.
Does it?
It changes things. I'll go with Newcastle win them.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I don't think Newcastle win.
I think 1-0. Only because I think the injuries like Casemiro, Varane, Rashford.
It is a lot.
Rashford's not there. That would concern me as United
Rashford
fan.
should hopefully be back for Man United.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. That's a big if.
Yeah.
But even Casemiro and Varane would worry me,
they are
to be
big
honest.
losses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
It's such a tight call. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2-2 like Michael said. Newcastle, Man United. Yeah, but it should be an interesting game, Champions League battle.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Oh, it's my turn.
I believe
my final game. Let me get it up. Is Arsenal Leeds. So Arsenal have Saliba, Elneny, and Nketiah out. Tomiyasu is also back for the game. And then in terms of Leeds, they have Stuart Dallas, Adam Forshaw, and Tyler Adams all out. So not many injuries, but I think Arsenal are going to win, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Arsenal are going to
win. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think, even that they have injuries, it's not going to make too much of a difference.
Yeah.
I think Saliba is an amazing player, don't get me wrong.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I think they'll still be fine, yeah. I said 4-0 Arsenal.
Oh.
That's not a bad shout at all.
Because Leeds defensively worry me. So, yeah, I think Arsenal with 4-0.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3-0 Arsenal, as much as it pains me.
I've noticed since Patrick Bamford's been back, the motivation's kind of kicked in. Javi Garcia's actually doing okay.
He's doing all right.
He's doing all right, yeah.
So, if it was still under Jesse Marsh, I would have probably said 4-0. But I'll go maybe 2 or 3-0.
Yeah.
It's still going to be an Arsenal game more towards
Arsenal. I got to press you for a definitive goal though.
Okay. 2-0.
2-0.
Okay.
So
I believe
2-0, 3-0, 4-0.
Okay. I believe we're into our final fixture.
Ooh,
and it's West Ham, Southampton. I don't know.
Oh, never mind then. Never mind.
Another relegation scrap.
There's a lot of big games.
There's a lot of I love the way you used to go. Oh, relegation 6 point. That's a bit rare. Like every game's a relegation. half the league is a relegation 6 point.
Literally.
Obviously, this is two teams who are literally in the relegation zone currently. West Ham in 18th, Southampton in 20th. Only one.
Rock bottom Southampton.
Yep. Only 1 point between them. We'll get into the key injuries for West Ham first. There's not many for either team, really. Lucas Fabianski, Kufau, and Antonio are on the list. Fabianski with a kind of head injury. He's got a 50% chance of playing.
That's interesting, that Fabianski being injured.
Yeah. But I mean, Areola would be the keeper.
Can do a job, yeah.
I'm always shocked that he's not the starter, and it's actually Fabianski.
Really?
Oh, unless that's changed recently. But
I think Fabianski's a little bit better than
okay.
I'd say the age thing though for Fabianski because he's got to be.
That's my thing. Just like Areola's,
he's been about, hasn't he?
He's been about, yeah.
Yeah, he's started for PSG before and stuff, and
yeah.
I think that's just my.
Yeah.
I understand why he wouldn't be the first choice at Real Madrid, but not the first choice at West Ham.
Yeah.
They might be a championship club next year.
That's a good point.
Potentially.
That's my opinion. Anyway, Kufau, he's got an ankle foot injury with a 25% chance of playing, and Antonio with a calf injury. He should likely be back. as well. So, there's a few misses, but all of them could very much still play or at least make the bench for this game. So there's nothing too serious. For Southampton, Che Adams has a calf injury. He's got a 50% chance of playing. June Laros, obviously who they got from Man City's academy, has a thigh injury. He's been out for quite a while, and he's still be out. Livramento has a muscular injury, and he's out for this game, as well as Beda Kotchap, who has a dislocated shoulder.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a few kind of key pieces there for Southampton, especially defensively, which is why I've gone for... It's got, again, 3-0's written here, but I don't believe that. I think it'll be a 2-0 West Ham win. It is at the London Stadium, I should say.
I'm going for a 0-0.
That's fair.
I think because both those teams are not very good attacking-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, they don't really...
So I think Danny Ings coming into West Ham's a good sign.
That's a good point, actually.
Absolutely.
That is a very good point. Oh,
I'll go 1-0 West Ham.
Because I completely forgot
That's
about
another Danny Ings. That's
Danny Ings
another revenge game.
Yeah. There you go.
Maybe 1-0 because of Danny Ings. Maybe he'll get a goal against his old team.
Okay, so you both go for 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Okay, so that is...
I forgot that Danny Ings was
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so that is our final fixture. We're going to get into our kind of nice little fun, light and breezy. Get some FPL talk, lads.
I do love my
I believe you've all... we've all made our changes for this game week.
We have.
Who wants to kick off with theirs?
Go on then. So I have a lot of injuries in my team. So I've got, I've got Rashford, Pope, Fofana, Haaland and Foden all injured.
Ooh.
So kind of worried, but a few of them like Rashford and that I think will play. So I took out Foden because I knew he was injured. And I put in Bernardo Silva because I've looked at him all season and kind of thought, well, like he gets points, but like I don't know, something was off with him. And then I've had Castagna since the start. I don't know why I've had Castagna, if I'm honest. I've kind of just had him. So I took him out and I put in Luke Shaw. So that was my two transfers. Because again, I kind of writ off United at the start. But Rashford and Shaw are good, Yeah. They give me my points. So yeah, that's my two changes.
Great. I'll jump in next, go on. So I added Solomon in because obviously he went for his purple patch. And
he did.
As soon as I added him in, his purple patch stopped, which is how every FPL story goes, really. And Nick Pope, obviously, I took out because he might be injured. So Robert Sanchez, he's my starting keeper now. So I bought Leno in because obviously Fulham, I've got that Bournemouth game, so I was hoping a little clean sheet there. And I also brought in Maddison because I had a bit of money to splash, and I was just like, why not? And I also put in a Stupian for Emerson Royal, obviously because I mentioned earlier he went out of a knock. So I was like, and also I think Pedro Porro is probably going to start at wing back. So I thought, why not a Stupian? Me and Lewis's favourite Brighton player.
He is. He's like 8 out of 10 every game.
Literally. And also, I've just got to shout this out. If you don't get Ben Mee in your team, he gets points.
Ben Mee is
Ben Mee in your team.
Mr. Reliable, so I'm going to say.
He scores goals. They weirdly keep clean sheets. Like every other week, he'll just randomly get 8 points.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, any goal-scoring defender for an FPL team is
exactly.
Like, because usually defenders don't really get you.
Yeah, it's why everyone wanted Perisic in their team at the start.
Yeah.
He's still got loads of assists.
Alright, so me, for FPL, I'm a very casual player. Like, I would, do my team at the start, leave it for like months, come back and see many like red exclamation marks that I go and put on a free hit and make a bunch of free transfers.
That's me. Actually, I've got a quick funny story about that. Until the other week, I still had Cancelo and Guedes in my team.
Oh, for
and
real.
Who left
they
a long
can't.
time
They left in January.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're now in
For
March
real.
for context.
Where did Guedes go?
Benfica.
Benfica,
online.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy.
I know.
Okay, so with goalkeepers, I've kind of gone. I've got Raya currently in goal. David Raya.
I like it. Yeah.
Solid, yeah.
I do have Alisson on the bench. Whether I
On the bench?
Alisson
That's
on the bench.
I'd probably keep him on the bench for this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this week especially, and he does have Chelsea coming up, so.
Yeah. There were.
Put him back in for that one, don't worry. He'll be fine for that one.
So, I've had Saliba in the team since the start, but I probably will be changing him because he is
Okay.
currently injured.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
I do have Estupinian on the bench, and I do have
Nice.
Diaz on the bench. I think Diaz probably don't get me wrong, he's good, but doesn't really get you many points. So
Yeah,
it's
fair enough.
I also bought in Chilwell and Trippier.
Yeah, I like it.
Trippier has currently got a purple star by his name, so he should be getting the points for us. I think fullbacks are really good for your team, like
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
especially for someone like Chilwell who he does get the goals and
Get the goals,
assists.
yeah.
So in the midfield, I've got two Arsenal players, Saka and Martinelli, because obviously they count as midfielders in
Yeah.
Absolutely.
the FPL, which is interesting. I've got Rashford in there as well, but whether he's back for the...
That's the worry.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's a risk. I kept Haaland in just because I was like,
Yeah,
I
me
might as
too.
well.
I do have Haaland in the as a striker as
I feel
well.
like you have to.
Everyone
I'll be
does.
honest.
If
Yeah.
you don't, you're like, what?
You're not
I'm
winning
sorry.
I
your
think
league.
you
You're not
have
winning
to have Haaland
Yeah.
and Rashford in your team. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you have a budget, but like
I have Haaland and Kane, although
Me too.
I Spurs fan, Kane's the captain, Haaland's only the vice, got to do it.
oh, for real.
Yeah.
No, Haaland's always my captain.
I
Always.
bought in Enzo Fernandez.
Oh,
Okay.
A man of my heart.
Yep. And for forwards, it's a little bit difficult this season. Apart from Haaland and Kane, there haven't been too many like forwards who've scored
Yeah.
like, loads of goals.
Also,
Yeah.
forwards on FPL, because like obviously Saka and Martinelli have scored a bunch, but they're midfielders.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
So I've got Havertz and Tony as my other forwards.
Havertz.
Havertz.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got
Is that a bit of bias? I'm feeling.
I mean, I thought it was nice to have a third Chelsea player in the team, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Fair
fair
enough.
enough. No, I do that because I have a thing. Like, I can't put Arsenal players in mine. So I don't have any. I've never had an Arsenal player in my FPL ever.
That's tough for you this season, though.
Oh, I know it is. Yeah, but like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I get that.
Can't do it. My
I actually unconsciously don't have any Tottenham players. I didn't.
Fair enough.
I didn't mean to.
no, I'm in a. Well, I was in a league where you weren't like you weren't allowed to have any players from Arsenal or Chelsea. It was like a Spurs league,
Oh, okay.
and I probably got it from that. But I didn't actually because I always used to do it before.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, just
Decent.
got to do it.
Decent.
Okay, I think that's everything.
Well, thank
Wow.
you for having us
Lovely.
on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Obviously, this is actually going to be our first official episode with an outro because the first two had to be cut short due to time constraints. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. Obviously, there'll be the Twitter and the Instagram linked in the description if you want to follow that. And is there anything you boys want to plug quickly or?
Follow this podcast, man. Why?
Yes,
why?
well said.
If you're not following, why aren't you following?
Well
Like, just
said.
press that subscribe button if it's.
Thank you very much. Oh yeah, also please click the like button and subscribe, and that'll be it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.